Okay, so one of the times that I was like the most, it was like so fun that didn't involve, what did involve cleavage, but it didn't involve like snorkeling or surfing or video games can be fun. Video games are immersive. They're not really fun. Yeah. Has a video game ever been fun? Password doing. Video games have been definitely immersive, and being immersed in a video game was fun. But the actual video game, I don't think was ever fun. Anyways, when I fulfilled a lot of sex fantasies in 2008, that was, well, immersive. Sort of like a video game. It was pleasurable. I don't know if it was fun though. I don't even know what fun is at times. That was something I journaled about on one of my recent journals this year. I started this whole thing of journals that's just real, and it just, you know, real thoughts, real anything. A rape fantasy, playing rape role play, hentai sex, how I liked having sex with cartoons, or I'd like to have sex with cartoons. Not somebody dressed up in like a cartoon thing, but like just an actual cartoon. And yeah, that person kind of looks like cartoon-like. Like women that look cartoon-like. Oh, so it just feels like safe because it's not like depth and like fat and like weird little blemishes and problems that reveal all shit that's going on with their career, their life, or their broken relationship, their broken life, their broken health, and rubbish. Cartoons are just like, you know, simple cartoons, clean. Anyways, so the time I was having the most, it seemed fun. One time I was in House of Blues, where I had like 7 beers, was dancing. They had all these random bands. It was okay music. It was loud and lively, and there was one rap, one like classic rock, and one really, really fun band where the musician looked like a 7th grade teacher with like a huge belly. And this other guy, the lead, I don't remember if they sang or not, but the lead kind of guitarist looked like a coach that I knew who was doing like music. And this comedian, a drummer who's a comedian, this Phil Verone dude, that wasn't him on the drums, but he looked like them. And I'd met the coach dude, didn't look like that lead singer, and the 7th grade teacher I met, but it wasn't the 7th grade teacher, it just looked like him. And then the Phil Verone person I had a drink with before he did a comedy set. I don't really know how I had a drink with him. I signed up to do a comedy open mic. I got all dressed up in a suit, and I was freaked out. I was like driving around West Coast, and like so panicked, and like so like not aroused, like agitated, and just like any person I saw, like in a vehicle, I was like, oh, I don't want to be like. I remember saying this, like in this stupid Grand Jeep Wagoneer that I had. I flipped over and I saw so many cars, like, I don't want to be that person. It was like everybody was agitating me. And I was like, I had to get to that little open mic sign-up list, and they didn't have a pen or pencil. So I went into the next the next door of the place. It's just the building next door to it. And I was like bolted in. And it was there was like drapes. I don't know what it was. It might have been like some hokey, like mystical, like crystal ball, or you know, I don't think it was somebody's private home. It wasn't furniture. It was like red drapes. And I was like, I need a pencil. Can I have a pencil? I just got a pencil. And then the guy kind of like realized there was some guy there. It might have been a couple people. Then he realized, wait a minute, this guy just like burst in and got a pencil. He's like, you can't take that pencil. And I was like, wait, I just need to sign up for this. And I signed up for that. And then after signing up for that, I think I probably journaled this. I could pull up the journal for it. But then I went to, I could put this on the original channel maybe. Then I went to but I think I went to a gym, and I think I worked out. Yeah. And I really quickly, and I changed into a suit in a garage. And I just had a little fold-over suitcase, and I was putting on a suit, and then getting back there and having like peed all the time and being all agitated. And I got back there, And then, you know, they didn't allow me to do an open mic, or I don't think they'd allow me to do an open mic. There was just like Phil Verone there, and he had a scotch, probably like whiskey and Coca-Cola, and I just like sat and had a drink with him. He said his doctor said if he kept doing music, it would kill him. Because it was, and so then I thought like, okay, you know, a doctor's like fuck up people's lives, and he does this sex stand up and rock and roll thing in life. But it's kind of like him trying to continue being a drummer. He was a drummer for Skid Row, and him trying to be a drummer, but like transmuting that into comedy. And honestly, he looks kind of uncomfortable doing comedy. He's successful with it, sort of, but he doesn't look that fucking successful. He doesn't look that normal. He looks like a fucking drummer. He looks like a fucking musician. So anyways, why did I mention that? Shit. Okay, comedy. I don't know why I mentioned that. Why did I mention that? Why did I mention that? I was talking about how I had a lot on the House of Blues thing. Was like dancing around. Oh yes, one of the 3 people on stage looked like Phil Verone. That's the Phil Verone story, but it wasn't Phil Verone. His House of Blues thing. It was just a drummer who looked like him. But that's like connected with him. That's what I'm saying. You know, like. The 7th grade teacher, I was a 7th grade student, and that looked like the bassist. And this coach that I looked at as like a father figure for a while was like the lead guitarist. And then Phil Verone had that drink with that story, that experience that actually happened, looked like the drummer. And so I was all like doing these NLP anchors, and just there was these 2 Asians that kept playing with my hair, like this wretchedly goofy like hair. Just because I hadn't cut it in a while, and it looked like froed out. It wasn't like cool, like long hair. At times I had cool long hair, like shoulder length hair, but which was always annoying. Oh my gosh, it like shed. It felt like a pet or something. And I also, but they're like playing with my hair. But they kept saying they knew the bassist, and after they finished their set, the bassist like came over, and he had all this like this music energy, you know. He looked like for some reason, I think he was like protecting the women, like he didn't want me to be around those women, or it was kind of like he was being like, okay, you know, interact with these women. I couldn't tell what he was doing, but he seemed like a police officer pulling, like I don't know, like something about the lighting, or like, you know, after somebody does a set, they probably have a lot of like energy. And something about that, he seemed like a police officer, like that you like that would pull you, like say something to your door or something, you know. Anyways, but I was bouncing around doing like NLP anchors, which is like spatial anchors, like to the beat of the music, and sort of like cheering on the musicians, or like anchoring the play. I didn't even know what it was. It could have been just rubbish, but it was, you know, I was giggling because I had been studying NLP. I like spatial anchors. Spatial anchors work. Like, you know, if you take something that is so awesome, and then you realize, whoa, it's right there, it's so awesome. That's kind of like a spatial anchor on me. That's like a self-frame. But a spatial anchor is like an anchor for like an area. A lot of performers do that. Like comedians, they go to a certain part on stage and they tell a joke, a really good joke, and they get people to laugh, and then they go to a different part on stage, and then they go back to that part when they want to tell another joke, and they keep amping that anchor over and over and over again, so it gets funnier and funnier. That's true. But musicians do that as well, probably. Musicians probably, I don't know, scream or get pumped with like a lot of, you know, music simultaneously, and it's like a spatial anchor. Sort of NLP stuff is sort of rubbish. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Anyways, I was giggling and doing what I felt like NLP spatial anchors, and that was really fun. And I just had like 7 beers, and I wasn't. Oh yeah, it was the time. It was like the time I was dancing on stage at this gay club. That was the House of Blues thing was 2009. The gay club thing was 2010, and that was 2 gay guys. One of them wanted to kiss me. I think I made out with one of them in a cab, but you know, I don't want to kiss a man. But I kissed one of them, made out with them, and then I felt like, okay, you know, I made out with this, or I didn't make out with him. I'm pretty certain I kissed him on the lips. And then I was like, okay, so I kissed this person who thought he was gay. I don't really think homosexuality exists, honestly. And I just don't, because it's like women are so arousing. So how could that, my take on it is just that people are like putting themselves through like weird little hoops or something, like their emotions are all entangled or constrained or something, and it somehow makes them think that they're attracted to the same sex when they aren't. That's just a theory. I don't really care though. I don't want to like fix people that are fucking like not interested in members of the opposite sex. That's like stupid religious shit. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm really women, hot, beautiful, sexy women make me happy. So I made out with one of them, and I definitely I keep smiling because I keep like looking at this photo of this woman's breasts who's really beautiful and sexy and hot, and it just keeps me like energized, like a stimulant, like caffeine. It's awesome. Oh, that's awesome! I feel reluctant about saying that. I like the idea of keeping that a secret, but because then whenever I smile, you think I've looked at cleavage, which probably I might edit that part out or something. Whatever. But not all cleavage. Some cleavage looks like, like saggy meat or something, or just like some like rubbish, weird, like something. I mean, some cleavage is awesome looking, but it's not like happy cleavage, Like some cleavage is like whoa, arousing, but it's not like happy cleavage, like arousing and happy and beautiful and safe and clean. It was kind of like that cartoon thing, For cleavage is like cartoon cleavage, like clean stuff. The cartoon thing is like cleanliness. Anyways, I might pull up some of these journals that I just, before I had frostbite, I just typed away. And all of these really, really, really just, it was like I was doing jump ropes, and I was like, I've got to share these journals. I've got to write journals and share them with the world. Not to be some fucking stupid Gandhi salvation, be the change in the world, but like just because it would have been suffocating to me. I just needed to do that. And they were about how I felt like, why aren't people having sex more around outside? Why don't I hear sex sounds? Tons of things. Gross things happened to me. A lot of sexual fantasy stuff. And I just journaled it all and made it public, which was awesome. Using a handle, but still. Eventually I might just, make all those journals my journals on whatever my site is, because that's all me, my ideas. Anyways, so yeah, looking at happy, clean, cartoon cleavage, hot cleavage, yeah, good. But so that was fun, and after that I went to a strip club. I spent a lot of money on 2 strippers. One was there just kind of like just take money. She wasn't even that arousing. One, she was a brunette, and then the blonde woman had some really interesting tattoos, and she was hot. The brunette woman, I was just kind of like, we went in some area where you like lay on some bed, and I don't like strip clubs, man. You don't have any control, you can't do anything. It's just like, it's like the more aroused you get, then they're like, yay, let's try to get more money for the person. It's just like really, really fucked up. And that's disgruntling, because it anchors like, flinging stupid currency dollar bills around with sexual arousal, and it just so sexually fucking unsafe and rubbish. But anyways, this blonde woman, I probably masturbated to her later at times, but she was hot. She had like clean skin, and she was like in reverse cowgirl position, but it was just like lap dances, which are just so uncomfortable. So you're just like sitting there like wanting to do stuff, but you can't. So I don't like strip clubs. But the NLP Anchors was fun. I was just like giddy and lively. Actually, that was kind of like my first dream. Actually, my first dream is to coach, and like the NLP Anchors and like being giddy and all around and stuff was kind of like coaching, and then to have scheduled sex, not like randomly wandering around. I tried to meet this person. They disappear. I tried to meet this person. They disappear. Disgruntled. I go home. Then suddenly a woman pops up. There's an interest in me, and I'm like, what? I tried to meet people. What? And then we have sex, and I'm all kind of like, what? Like to plan the scheduled sex after coaching, and then croissant and orange juice and maybe coffee and tea, and then more coaching, and then more planned sex, and then croissant, orange juice, maybe tea and maybe coffee, and then more coaching. And there'll probably be food in there elsewhere. But anyways, But that was kind of like that dream. It was kind of like that dream. Now that I think about it, because I was doing like coaching at House of Blues and like Space Makers, and I did a magic trick. I've been reading a Darren Brown book, Tricks of the Mind, and before the music thing, I did this coin disappearing trick, which was kind of cool. That made me happy actually, because that was like a performance. It was just to one person, and she was like, "Wow." She might have been like, well, "Who the hell cares?" I think it did. She was like, "Well, how did that disappear?" But she might have been just trying to encourage me. But that somehow made me really happy. And then I started doing all these spatial anchors. And then the strip club thing was, not as, it wasn't that fun. The blonde woman, reverse cowgirl, a really smooth skin and like a hot tattoo. I don't even remember her face. She was really, masturbatable. And the brunette woman was just kind of, I don't think she was that hot. She looked kind of like a naughty little bondage slut or something. She was the one who like tried to just get as much money. The blonde woman was just, whoa. That like I would have wanted to fuck that woman. Wow, that woman was really, really, really hot. I don't think that's a weird thing in my life. I don't want to get too off topic here, but everything is off topic in this podcast at times. But like sometimes I've like interacted with women that I don't fantasize about. And I don't want to get into that too much, but where I kind of basically I might need water or fluids. Yeah. What is that beverage right here? Where I kind of basically, this is a big thing, right? Like I fantasize about women, and that's okay, that's normal. It could be like all these naughty, crazy, raunchy, random fantasies. But then I've dated these women, and a lot of times I haven't fantasized about them. Almost explicitly, like I almost always explicitly, like subconsciously or something, kept those separate. So I'd be dating a woman and I'd be like, oh, she's beautiful, and sending letters, and going on a date, do you want to do something, let's go to get that thing, and okay, and then maybe have sex, and then maybe cuddle, and then okay, I'll see you later, okay, cool. And like this woman I dated for 3 months, she wasn't interested in premarital sex. There was no sex, a lot of like some oral sex, and a lot of naked things that weren't sex. And I dressed up in a suit and a tie. I need some fluids before meeting up with her about 60% of the time. So it was like looking at the relationship, like what was I doing? Was I coaching her, or was I protecting myself by overly dressing up? I could have been. But basically, I've dated women, and then I fantasized about a lot of other women that I wasn't dating. So that's been a big theme in my life, and I really need more fluids. Dang it. I like being paired with fluids. I swear I had some kind of fluid thing. What the fuck? Oh, I guess I could stop this recording, but I like doing a full recording. Dang it all. I guess this could be the length of a podcast. I don't really have like a core. I should do an hour podcast. That's what I wanted to do. Anyways, let me just finish this quick story. I was basically, that House of Blues night thing was really fun. But, that was really fun. The coaching part was more fun than the strip part, which was kind of like the sex part, because it wasn't really sex. It was just, that's what I don't like about strip club things. Just kind of like, I'd rather not be aroused if it's not sex, you know? And I don't like lap dances. I might like to give a lap dance, try to be all sexy or something to a woman, but after when massaging or actually having sex or whatever. So this is what makes me feel reluctant about uploading this to my original channel, because I start kind of talking a lot about sexual things. But that's me, sexual. I'm a sexual person at times, not always, a lot of the time though. And right, let's see here. Dang, I need fluids. What is this stuff? This is like coffee and mint. I don't know if I'm going to drink that or not. Might throw me off. Sometimes I get really indecisive about things. But then there was this other time at this pub, and I was just having like tons of rogue ale beers and staring at this woman's cleavage about every couple of minutes, or just whenever I needed a boost. And somehow things were aligned up. Like I didn't have to be like, oh, bartender, like wait 5 minutes and then finally get a beverage. Oh, okay, got a beverage. Then what do I do? Where do I go? Where do we go? It was just like somehow there was like a replenishing thing of like, I don't really like beer, drink beer, but this is rogue ale was probably my favorite type of beer. It was just like right there, endlessly there, and I was like in the right position. I was talking like a mixed 2 or 3 set. This was the last time I squeezed something more about her boobs. Well, quite a while ago, a long time ago. Anyways, and I was just like the placement there. I wasn't wandering around and focusing all around and everybody in the bar, making sure everybody being like a little concierge host, which I have a tendency of doing at times, which is fucked up and annoying. But I was just like, you know, down in beers and like just podcasting, doing like podcasting mode. And it was really fun. And it was like really stimulated by looking at women's cleavage at times. But usually I don't feel like I can look at a woman's cleavage. Normally I feel like sleazeball city, so I don't even look at a woman's cleavage. Or I always feel really uncomfortable doing that. And sometimes the woman, I've done blog articles on this, sometimes the woman wants you to look, actually this is on I don't know if I should mention the main site. Actually, there's this article on breasts, who doesn't love breasts, on valueslife.com. And I might change that domain because that's a little bit noisy, but that's an article about how women like being on top because it shows off their breasts. There's been studies done that say some women like taking off their tops more than their bottoms because it shows off their breasts. Women get like a maternal, like kind of a warm, gushy, maybe not necessarily a power thing, hopefully not a power thing, that's not really, yeah, but it's a kind of a maternal, gushy, good feeling of I think a man sucking her breasts or holding her breasts or looking at her breasts or something, and it just feels good to some women. Like it's, I don't know, like getting a compliment. If it's a slight gander. And I guess I implemented that. I probably just written that post, actually, on my attraction site. And that was kind of implementing that. But I'm kind of more interested, this is the big thing that's going on for me. Like I love writing about and talking about and doing like attraction stuff. Chemistry, trust, romance, nerd, sex, code, romantic, traumatic stuff. And I don't know if I should blend it in with all the stuff that's been on my other site. Because the other site stuff was kind of like me moving away from things I don't want, moving away from crap, moving away from other stupid, like cult religious stuff, or toxic things, or I don't know. But like the romance stuff is just stuff I like. So I don't know if I should be on that site. That's been a big, enormous conundrum for me. Anyways, and I, love beautiful women. And I've kept that separate. I've kept that specifically separate from work. Like work was like, I'm in work mode, man. I can't look at boobs. I can't even think about boobs. I can't even think about attractive women. I gotta be in work mode. But obviously at that time I was podcasting, and currently now I was like gandering at boobs, and that was beautiful and awesome, and it genuinely stimulated me. Like it was like caffeine. And the rogue beers were there, and it was just fun. It was just talking, and people said things that were kind of, I don't know what their intention was. Either like they just didn't like me, or they're trying to challenge me. But they said things like something like, "Don't be such a tool," or "Don't be so," something like that. And I was just, instead of being like, "Oh, bother," I was just like, "What do you mean?" I really wanted to. I wasn't like confrontationally, "What do you mean?" I was just like intellectually wanting to understand what the person said. And then somebody else translated that, and they said, "Don't be so," I think the person said, "Don't be so societally predictable." And I was like, oh, I understand that. I understood like the more complicated phrase. Except the first book I wrote, it was just all this hyper complicated stuff. Like sometimes it's easier for me to say things in a complicated way. Like looking at beautiful breasts is fun. Well, that was pretty simple, but I could say that, like, I don't know, there's so many ways you could say that. What am I talking about? I need fluids. Like using occipital lobe to after light transmits through the retina, after briefly gandering at a bosom, has an emotionally provocative impact. That's kind of like a more complicated way of saying looking at breasts are fun. But I said the same thing. Using the occipital lobe, which is where images go, after they pass through the retina, after light passes through the retina, after taking a brief gander at beautiful, safe, cartoon, hot, sexy cleavage, after a brief, subtle gander at that, it has a very galvanizingly and kind of like stimulating impact. That's the same thing as saying, looking at breasts are fun, but it's just saying it in a more complex way. So that's, sometimes I understand things more in a complex way because it's more specific, you know? Like looking at breasts are fun. Well, like, you know, what part of the breast? Or like, well, what do you mean by fun? What is fun? What is fun for you or something else? But it's like, you know, the occipital lobe, it's kind of senses, and looking at like breasts that get channeled through the occipital lobe after passing through the retina with like rays of light is fun. Well, it has a galvanizingly stimulating, uplifting kind of. I was going to say a felicitacious reaction, or a felicitacious. I don't like the word reaction because it's like cause and effect. We talk about like a felicitacious, but I don't think that's even. I was trying to think of a fancy word for happy. My mind kind of blanked on that synonym. But it just produces uplifting, stimulating, joyful impact. If I change accents, I can access different words. That's just factor with true, basically. If I switch to a different accent, I'm really, really parched. I gotta get some fluids. I don't want to stop recording. If you switch to a different accent, you can access different words at times. For me, at least. I think it's true for other people. You access, your brain thinks slightly differently, you know? Gosh. Beautiful bosom is like a gorgeous sunrise of awesomeness and delight. I gotta get some fluids, because I kind of... I've had this coffee here. I poured this coffee yesterday, and I didn't want to drink the coffee, and then I was like, I'll pour it into this cup, because I only have one, actually I have two little mug-like things I can put hot beverages in, but only really one. The other one's like a measuring cup, but I put hot beverages in soup and that. But I forgot about that, so I poured the coffee into this glass, and I was like, oh, I'll drink that later. Instead I just had tea, and water, and lemonade. And I was afraid of drinking the coffee, and I did drink the coffee. Instead I just jogged and did all these other different things, and it was probably really good. Sometimes I feel like eating something or doing some small little thing, like having coffee or not having coffee, could really like shut down my life, like cause my, not shut down, but cause my life to be like thrown off, like thrown off, like an archer's aim, like slightly thrown off, and so things don't work, or like some, like a train or a plane, like some little bearing thrown off with navigation and nautical stuff. I gotta get water. Really parched. If I have like one little small thing off, like having coffee or not having coffee, and sometimes that's true. Well, because that produces a physiological impact. So I guess I will. Dude, I need fluids. I like drinking fluids. Fluids are tasty. Okay, I'm gonna pause this recording and yeah.